श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् सदा हृदि रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम् சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
Abhaya Pradana Saram. So we are going through the few pages of Abhaya Pradana Saram, and we have come to page 34. Now we are continuing the episode of the crow. As he had a demoness nature, he committed a fault, and we are now doting upon, discussing upon the episode, how the total surrender has got a lot of effect. So Sharanagati, otherwise called on the protector's side. We are to be protected, and the protector is Lord Shiman Narayana, and he, on the protector's side, he is doing Abhaya Pradana. He is granting us fearlessness. Bhayam, fear. Abhayam, fearlessness. That results in protection, safety. Pradanam is giving completely. Dhanam, donation. English, look at that English word, D-O-N-E. Sanskrit is D-A-N-E. That's all. Small difference in spelling, and of course the pronunciation is also almost same. Donation, Dhanam. So Pradhanam is excellent donation. Good donation. Good gift. So what is a good gift for us? Fearlessness. So in our life, we have got lot of fears. Number of fears. Unlimited number of fears as the unlimited number of good qualities in Lord. Now, what happened to the crow? You know the episode, full episode, which we have been discussing all through the previous pages. Ulluru Pashayillada Kakam. Now, in our case also, when the preceptor asks us directly, or our friends, parents, neighbors, relatives, when they ask us to say and realize the importance of Sharanagati, total surrender to God, we may not be interested immediately. We might not have got an intention to do it earlier. It's a new topic introduced to us by our friends, relatives, parents, and others. And still, we don't believe it. After their advice, after others' advice, we don't believe. We don't have faith in their statement. So that's what the crow had. So after getting convinced, what we do is we go to that path of Sharanagati. Otherwise, we still hesitate, we lag behind, we put the concept in the background, and we don't worry about it. Maybe at the ripe old age, we are interested in the spiritual path towards God. When our limbs become weak, and when we understand that we have helplessness and we have no other way, ananya gatihi, then we are interested in God. We are interested in total surrender to God. So, ulluru pashayilla the kaham. The crow had nothing in his heart of hearts any knowledge about Sharanagati. He did not know anything about Sharanagati. He did not want to do Sharanagati. Even when the crow knows that his father Indra, along with Brahma, Shiva and others, often go to Shivan Narayana and surrender to him totally. Even after observing the action of the father, he did not realize, the crow did not realize, and he had no intention to do Sharanagati. He is not deeply interested in Sharanagati. So, Ulloru Pasai illada. Pasai is attachment. Pasai in Tamil means gum. The gum joins two objects, no? And then it sticks two objects together. Gum. Afterwards, you can also separate them sometimes easily, sometimes not possible. If you join two papers with a gum, the papers are spoiled when you want to split them again. So the crow had no intention to do Sharanagati. Even after committing the fraud, it was not ready to do Sharanagati. That is so this is what our attitude is. So we might be compelled by others to do Sharanagati, and we still have a lot of reservations to do Sharanagati. So, ikagattirku aparadam pannugail. Now, when it was committing the blunder, when the crow was doing the bad action, aparadam pannugail, during the act, abhisandhi viramam illadapadiyale. There was no gap of time for the crow to think about what he is doing. He did not brood over what he was doing. He was not ready to analyze his own action. He did not expect any bad consequences of his action. So, abhisanti viramam illadapadiyale. He was doing it without any thought of its bad results. So now, after being punished by Rama by taking one eye vision out, now the crow might have thought that suppose we commit another fraud, suppose we commit another error, then the other eye also will lose the sight. The second eye also will be losing the vision, as Rama, like people like Rama will take away the vision and punish for the second round of bad action. So,
Abhisanthi
Viramaha means rest, rather interval time. Abhisanthi is analysis. So we will take up the notes number 1 and then find out
okay.
Better meaning. Yeah. So iniyor aparadathode. So again, iniyor aparadathode also is given a star there. This mark, a star mark is there. Again, we will understand that. So whatever I know as little, I will just saying, interpreting. So in future, if the crow thinks, if I do mistake, aparadathode, matra kannum pom endru anji. So matra kannum pom, now the other eye also will lose the vision. Endru anji, bhayam, because of the fear that he will lose the vision, complete vision also. Then durabhisandhi vittu. So without the bad performance of action, without performing bad action. Now, durabhisandhi is attachment to sandhi is, as conjunction, so joining. So abhisandhi is interest in joining, and durabhisandhi is interested in performing bad action. So durabhisandhi vittu tirihikaha. So vittu tirihikaha. The crow should abandon, again repeating the same bad action. So vittu tirihikaha. Then he can roam anywhere. So when he wants to roam, when the crow wants to roam, now the first time roaming was done by him because Brahmastra was chasing him. The missile from the creator sent by Rama was chasing him, and therefore, because of the fear that the missile will hit him hard, and never he thought it will hit his eye, and therefore he was roaming and roaming and roaming. Moovalaham Tirindodi. He went to all the three worlds. He wandered, he wandered, he wandered. So now he must wander with a fear that if at all he commits another fraud of this type or some other type, Oru kannai astrathirku ilakkaakinaar. So this was Rama's action to teach him a lesson that in future the crow will not commit again any mistake. So ஆகையால் இம்மூன்று விருத்தாந்தங்களிலும் அஸ்திரத்திற்கு லட்சியம் கொடுத்தபடியெல்லாம் ஆசிரித ஹிதமாகவென்று நிர்ணீதம். Nirnitam is, it's a conclusion. It's a considered conclusion. Nirnitam. That means what we deduce from these three episodes where a missile has been used and the missile's target is fixed. So we saw the three episodes. Number one, crow. Number two, Samudra Raja Sharanagati and Parashurama Sharanagati. Immediately after the wedding, the days were not happy as they were traveling from Mithila to Ayodhya. Rama was faced with a task by Parashurama, and Dasharatha was terribly afraid. Soon after marriage, the whole family must be in joy after marriage. But while traveling back to the capital city Ayodhya, this happened, Parashurama's meeting. So Parashurama's meeting created a lot of fear in Dasharatha. And then, of course, Rama solved it as what we call, to say, as fish takes to water. And also, he had a walk over easily. He had a walk over easily. He could overcome the difficulty. But that kind of capacity was not believed by Dasharatha. Rama, of course, was his son. And Rama was not considered as a god by Dasharatha. Dasharatha loved him because he was the eldest son. And also, he, of course, saw the divine qualities in Rama, but did not take. As you know, Yashoda in Krishna Avatara identified then and there Lord Krishna's divinity, but still the next moment she forgot. Whereas Devaki, from the birth of Lord Krishna, from the very incarnation, day of very incarnation, rather from the very night of incarnation as Lord Krishna, she understood that he is only a God, supreme God. Whereas Yashoda did not realize. So also Dasharatha. And Kaikeyi knew, but not Kausalya and Sumitra. Of course, Sumitra's words have got a lot of philosophical interpretation when she advised Lakshmana to go to the forest along with Rama. But so one of the episodes, Parashurama's meeting with Rama, and the the target of the arrow fixed on the Vishnu's bow was some mountains and also the merits of penance of Parshurama. And again here, the second episode, crow episode, the target of the creator's missile was one of the eyes of the crow. And third is Samudra Raja's Saranagati, the king of ocean, made a total surrender to Lord, and the missile had the target of going to the enemies of the king of the oceans. Now, the point here is Ashrita Hitamaha. So the targets fixed by the arrow as per the instruction of Rama were all for favoring the devotees, namely, or surrenderies, namely Parashurama, the king of oceans, Samudra Raja, and the crow. The crow was released with life. Therefore, only one eye was spoiled. So he went with life back. He was alive. Samudra Raja was saved, and Samudra Raja was protected from his enemies. So that was the result. So Ashrita Hitam. So those who have surrendered have been favored with the missile's target. So let us go to the next paragraph. And before, if you want, you can read the number 1, 2, and the star. So I told you, Viramaha, rest, Viramaha, time to think. So an interval. So Abhisandhi Viramaha, Ennathinuடைய ஓய்வு. This Abhisandhi is a positive thought. Whereas next word in the same paragraph was Durabhisandhi. Durabhisandhi is bad thought. So Viramaha Oivu, meaning in the sense, it is not an absence of thought. Though the crow did not remain idle without thinking, but as while committing the mistake, it was not analyzing what will be the effect of his mistake. But whereas at least after committing the fraud, when the missile of creator chased him, he must have thought about his action, whether the action was right on his part or bad on his part, wrong on his part. So, Ennathinuடைய ஓய்வு meaning, so he did not give rest to his mind to think of the consequences of his action. That is what we call Abhisandhi. Abhisandhi is our link, our mind's link with our action. Now, Nichayikapattadu, number 2, that is what we call Nirnitam. The word Nirnitam occurs in the paragraph. So that means Nichayikapattadu, decided. So what was decided? Rama in all these 3 cases. Rama in all these 3 episodes, namely in Parashurama's meeting, the crow episode, and the King of Oceans episode. In all the 3 episodes, Rama made the good effect of the missile's target as favorable to the devotees of Lord. So that was, we say. Now the star explanation is Periyalvar's statement. So there is a special decade, 10 songs of Divya Prabandham, as Rajagopalan Swami and Geeta Madam and even Shanta Madam might know. So Kol Konduva. Kol Konduva is the request of Periyalvar in his Periyalvar Tirumozhi. Out of the 442 songs, 10 were meant for amusing the child Lord Krishna. So Kol Konduva is, now this is to give some engagement to the child mind engagement, and instead of allowing him to do pranks, he was asking the nature to bring a stick for him. So almost like a doll. The stick was like a doll. Periyalvar was trying to control Lord Krishna. Matrai kan kollame kol konduva. Matrai kan kollame kol konduva meaning there are two shades of meaning here. The one is the crow. The crow has got only one eye. That's what we say even today. All crows have got only one eye vision. So matrai kan kollame meaning without being recognized by birds like crow. That means without being affected by an evil eye. Tamil சொன்னா கண் திருஷ்டி. So கொள்ளாமே கோல் கொண்டு வா. I think I will try to give you the exact full verse. And then second one is matrai kan kollame is without being seen by others. Kol konduva. Bring a stick so that the boy Krishna, the lad, will play with the stick. Now let us go to the next paragraph. Now, karyatil abhisandhi undayirukka. Now, when we are thinking of our own action, that means we concentrate our mind on our own action. Now, the point here is when we start doing Sharanagati, total surrender, we must be intent upon, totally intent upon, without caring anything about anything else. So we must engage ourselves fully in the total surrender process. So karyatil abhisandhi undayirukku. Now, Rama's intention, here we are referring to Rama's action. Rama's intention was to go to Sri Lanka and win over Ravana. Please remember, not to kill Ravana. Rama's intention is not to kill Ravana. But he wanted to instruct him, advise him not to repeat his bad action of abducting Sita in the absence of Rama. So, karyatil abhisandhi undayirukka. So, when Rama was completely concentrating on his own action, then bhoga prasangattale. Now, this is, there are two cases here. One is devotees like us and the Lord. So, in our case, what do? We enjoy the pleasures of the world. We try to enjoy, we want to enjoy the pleasures of the world, and therefore forget the main task of total surrender. So when we are concentrating on the total surrender, we are dragged away. We have deviations from the total surrender concept, and we try to enjoy the pleasures of this world. That is bhoga prasanga. Prasangaha means context. Bhoga is pleasure, happiness. So we seek happiness in other things, worldly things, and forget about the Sharanagati, total surrender. That is one in our case. In the case of Rama, Sri Rama, he was in a reclining pose. Darbhashayanaha. He was lying on the grass, kusha grass, darbha grass, otherwise called kusha, otherwise called Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra is the name of the grass, not I am referring to the name of the sage. So, bhoga prasangatale, normally when we lie on a bed, what do? We want to forget everything else and sleep well. So we want to have, I think there is a mattress called sleep well. And a pillow cover is called good night. So we want to have rest. While we want to have rest, we don't worry about any other thought, namely Sharanagati. So again, of course, this is a sport of Leela of Sriman Narayana in the incarnation as Sri Rama. So Bhoga Prasangatale. Though he was lying on the serpent, normally he was lying on the kusha grass in Tirupullanai, otherwise now called Tirupullani, and where Adi Jagannatha is lying down on the grass. So Anyapararai Kaduga Perumal Endurulirunda Vidathale. So Rama did not forget the purpose of his lying down on kusha grass for 3 days. 3 days without food. So Upavasaha plus expecting the king of oceans to respond to his call. So Bhoga Prasangatale, Anyapararai. Now his thought is over. The enemies, Anya meaning enemies. We say foreigner is Anyan in Tamil. So that's what becomes Anyaha. Anyaha is third person, stranger, enemy, and some other people. Meaning, so you can say that because he has promised Vibhishana, because of his total surrender. The main subject of this book, Abhaya Pradana Saram, starts with Vibhishana Sharanagati. So Vibhishana surrendered, and in order to do good to him, in order to favor him, in order to bless him, in order to help him, so his mind was busy. Anya Pararai. Now he was in a hurry to build a bridge or dam and cross over from India to Sri Lanka. And therefore, Kaduga Perumal Endurulirunda Vidathile. He was coming fast. He was in a hurry. He was restless. And therefore, he wanted to build the bridge immediately. So, Kaduga means fast. Perumal Endurulirunda Vidathile. Now, always, this particular book refers to either Rama or Sriman Narayana as Perumal. We don't say Rama is a human being according to this, in this context of this book. So we always say Perumal. Perumal is Perumal, the highest human being, namely Lord Sriman Narayana. So we don't refer to Rama as a human being, ordinary human being, just like one among the 11. But it is Perumal is our realization that Rama is only the supreme God. So Perumal Ezhundurulirunda Vidathile. So when he was staying, rather reclining on the grass, kusha grass, Varada Valavile. Who did not respond? Who did not come? The king of oceans. The king of oceans did not respond to the call. And what did he do? Samaya Atilanghanam. He was not punctual. He was not coming at the right time. So Samaya is contract. Samayaha, time, as we say in Tamil. Samayaha is presence of mind. Samayochita buddhi, we say. Samaya uchita buddhi, samayochita buddhi. Sama is equal, but samaya. So Samayaha in contract. What is the contract? That we must understand here, the basic principle of Sharanagati. So a surrendery is there, a protector is there. So the protector has got the duty to protect the devotee at the right time. That means in time, the protector should help the devotee. Otherwise, he is not the right protector. He is not a good protector. So we are not talking about the right time when the surrendery approaches the preceptor. Whereas the devotee will approach the preceptor at any time. As he realizes the importance of Sharanagati, the individual soul, Jivatma, we all approach the preceptor as and when we think it is right. So we delay our approach to the preceptor, but God never minds. So as soon as the individual soul surrendered to the Lord has the onerous responsibility to protect the devotee. What did the King of Oceans do? Samaya Atilanghanam. So this is the contract between the devotee and the protector. So he swerved from his duty. He had a dereliction of duty. He has overlooked the duty. He did not perform his duty in time. So Atilanghanam is his dereliction of duty. So Pandinaraha, so when he did it, that means when he violated the contract, Samayati Langanam is violating the contract. The contract between any devotee and any protector is, protector should immediately help. Protector should immediately assure safety to the devotee. Whereas Rama is a devotee here, Rama is a surrendery here, the ocean of the king of ocean is the protector. So Parishumanda Maharaja Vishethiya. So he was blamed, he was to be blamed. King of ocean is to be blamed. Parishumanda. Unwittingly, unknowingly, without realization, the king committed the blunder of not coming in time and save or help Sri Rama. So Maharaja. So you can also attach this concept to many people who do not approach God. What Rama said in the 18th canto of Srimad Yuddha Kandam of Ramayana is, even if Ravana had come to surrender to Rama, he would have been excused. He would have been pardoned. He would have been forgiven. So he was a Maharaja. And Vali, the elder brother of Sugriva, had he come to surrender to Sri Rama, his life would have been saved. So you can always say this, whoever did the mistake of delaying the protection. So now I think I will give you the full verse of Periyar or Tirumazhi. The full verse is not there in the text what we see here. So we will take up the Periyar Tirumazhi 267, second decade. It's called second chapter, 6th Aram Tirumazhi, Velikol. Now, this particular verse comes as the it is the 7th verse from 6th decade. பொன்திகள் சித்திரக்கூட பொறுப்பினில் உற்ற வடிவில் ஒரு கண்ணும் கொண்ட அக்கற்றை குழலன் கடியன் விரைந்து உன்னை மற்றை கண் கொள்ளாமே கோல் கொண்டு வா மணிவண்ண நம்பிக்கை ஓர் கோல் கொண்டு வா. That's the exact verse from Periyar Tirumazhi, full verse from Periyar Tirumazhi. And we have got the other 9 verses. Now, here the reference is, particular reference is, this quotation is relevant because here Periyar asked the crow to bring the stick. You know, you would have observed that birds build their nest. Birds build their nest. When they build their nest, கூடு கட்டுற போது they bring lot of sticks. I have been observing last December some pigeons, what you call kapota or kabutar in Hindi. They were bringing a lot of sticks in the temple, and they started building the nest. So when they bring a stick, they just join it with another stick and beautifully build a nest. And sometimes the stick falls down without sticking to another stick. Now we have got the request of Periyalvar to a crow. So we have these are the sentences, last sentences in the songs. கடல் நிற வண்ணக்கு கோல் கொண்டு வா, அரக்கு வழித்ததோர் கோல் கொண்டு வா, தேவபிரானுக்கு ஓர் கோல் கொண்டு வா, கடல் நிற வண்ணக்கு ஓர் கோல் கொண்டு வா, தேவபிரான், again I think same repetition, குடந்தை கிடந்தார்க்கு ஓர் கோல் கொண்டு வா, மணிவண்ண நம்பிக்கு ஓர் கோல் கொண்டு வா, வேலை அடைத்தார்க்கு ஓர் கோல் கொண்டு வா, வெங்கடவாணருக்கு ஓர் கோல் கொண்டு வா. So he was asking a crow, அக்காக்காய் நம்பிக்கை கோல் கொண்டு வா. So what we understand is this is to amuse child Krishna, to not to allow him to do pranks, as I said earlier. So here the point is here. There are 2 points here. யாரும் காணேமே, மற்றை கண் கொள்ளாமே, meaning, so யாரும் காணாமே, nobody should be able to recognize that a stick is being brought by the bird crowed for the sake of game to play for child Krishna. And the crow is asked to engage itself in the service of the Lord, namely Krishna, in order that it will not do the blunder again. So matrekkan kollame, so let it not face the consequences of repeating the action, and Sri Rama will punish it by removing the vision of the next eye also. So the crow will become blind. So Periyalvar now tries to make the crow also devoting his service to Lord Krishna. Now, of course, Periyalvar enjoyed the pranks of Lord Krishna even eons apart. Though from in Dwapara Yuga, Lord Krishna incarnated, and in Kali Yuga, Periyalvar enjoyed the pranks, and therefore he was thinking of Lord Krishna, and being the Bhagavad Amsha of Garuda, so he was the incarnation of kite, the vehicle, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, and therefore being a bird by himself, so he doesn't want his own species of the bird to harm himself, to get punished in the hands of God. Of course, getting punished in the hands of God is also a fortune, but not this way, after doing bad actions. And you find that all those who get killed in the hands of God also get moksham. But that doesn't mean all of us should be demoniac in nature and then commit frauds and then go to surrender, or even fight with the Lord and then get killed by him. Parashara Bhatta is requesting Lord Ranganayika, Goddess Ranganayika, in the last verse of Gunaratana Kosham. He says, Sasuguradvargena Nishkantakam. I must have friends and they must not disturb me. I must have good friends. Sasuguradvargena Nishkantakam. And then said, I must not suffer nirdukkham. I should have no grief. And he did not stop with that. So I will have susukham. I will have good happiness. So in order to have all these three, for example, the good friends around us and without suffering and with happiness, these three. So how will it happen? He himself says in the third line, Rajasyama. We will all become the dust on the feet of the Lord. Tondaradi Pudiyalvara Ahanu. We must become Bhaktangri Renu. So just like Tondaradi Pudiyalvar, Bhaktangri Renu. Bhaktangri Renu. He said Bhaktangri Renu. But I want to become the dust on the feet of the Lord. So that is how Parashara Bhatta requests Ranganayika. And actually he sang this song Gunaratna Kosham in the Sanctum Sanctorum of Sri Ranganatha. So see, Abhaya Pradana Saram is a production, a good production of Sri Vedanta Deshika, as he had a glimpse of Ranganatha as Sri Rama when he had seva at the divine sandals Paduka in Srirangam for a few seconds, not even for a few minutes, for a few seconds. So that is the greatest quality of Sri Vedanta Deshika, and therefore we can understand easily how the bhakti flows 24/7 in the mind of Vedanta Deshika, and he could reel out 1008 verses on these divine sandals in 1.5 hours, and then he could give us blesses with Ragasya Granthas, like many Ragasya Granthas like Abhaya Pradana Sam. So I think we will go to the next session and we will complete today with now of course the next paragraph says about the anger of Lakshmana, and we are talking of Maharaja here, Sugriva. The last paragraph, when we saw in 34, it was Sugriva. So Sugriva delayed coming back to Sri Rama to help him. Rama expected him to help. Rama gave a concession. He must take rest for snowy season. That is what you call Kulurgalam, or frosty season, or rainy season. In Sanskrit, we have got Varsha Rutu, rainy season, Shishira Rutu, the snowy season, and Hemanta Rutu, frosty season. In all these three seasons, monkeys take rest. And therefore, Sugriva was given time, but still he delayed even after the time was over. Samaya Atilanganam. So I was interpreting in the case of Samudra Raja, and we can also talk about Sugriva's Samaya Atilanganam. He also violated the contract, and therefore we are going to see in detail from the next session on the anger of Lakshmana and Sugriva plunging into action according to the intention of Sri Rama. So what what I now consider that I made a mistake in the meaning of Maharaja as the king of some oceans. Now, the next understanding is Maharaja is Sugriva. The great king was Sugriva among the monkeys. And what I want to say here is, though I made a mistake, the application of the principle can be done to such characters in Ramayana. After 3 days, also, the king of oceans did not heed to the call of Sri Rama. So that was my understanding earlier, but
ராமானுஜதயாபாத்திரம் ஞான வைராக்யபூஷணம் ஸ்ரீமத் வெங்கடநாதாயம் வந்தே வேதாந்த தேசிகம். கவிதார்க்கிகசிம்மாய கல்யாண குணசாலினே ஸ்ரீமதே வெங்கடேசாய வேதாந்த குரவே நமக. வாதித்விபசிரோத்பங்க பர பஞ்சானன பராக்ரமா வாதித்விபசிரோத்பங்க பங்க பர பஞ்சானன பராக்ரமாம் ஸ்ரீமான் வெங்கடநாதாத்ய சிரம் விஜயதாம்புவி. சீரொன்று தோப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்று சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேர போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ராமானுஜதயா பாத்திரம் ஞான வைராக்யபூஷணம் ஸ்ரீமத்வேங்கடநாதார்யம் வந்தே வேதாந்ததேசிகம். கவிதார்க்கிகசிம்ஹாய கல்யாணகுணசாலினே ஸ்ரீமதே வெங்கடேஷாய வேதாந்த குரவே நமः. சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. ஓம்